There will be times where you say, yaar, aaj to kuch nahi hoga. And then suddenly at 4 o'clock in the morning, someone will make money and you'll sell one ticket and then 2 and 3 and 4. And there will be days where you'll do nothing. You have to figure out. So even in a day, again, I'll say, we'll say, listen, let's not get ahead and say, aaj to kuch nahi hoga. We'll have to say, okay, let's look at next 2 hours, let's do it. Sometimes when you're in a situation which is not very good, being, limiting your ability, your sight or your whatever thought process to the immediate present is very useful. Either let's not get very excited if we did something very well in the first hour. Let's not get very terribly upset if we didn't do anything. But in those kind of areas, and it all depends on your mental makeup. Success or a failure of a startup is not a success or a failure of an idea. Success and failure of a startup will eventually depend on the success or failure of how the founder's mind is working, how he navigates the challenges, the tougher times. Ideas never win. Execution wins. Because everyone has thousands of ideas every day. I mean, from a rickshawala who thinks that he knows better than Mr. Mukesh Ambani on how to do Geo, to a founder, to an employee. Ideas, all of us have tons of ideas. It's just focus on execution that will win you. So anyone who wants to really win really needs to have sharp execution focus. And they have to do the ability to do really boring, mundane things again and again and doing it with a smile rather than just feeling, oh my God, this is just not happening.
क्या ऐसा भी कभी हुआ जब आप लोगों को लगा कि okay, the cost of ticket is X, because since there is no sale happening, you even went X minus.
So
just for the happiness or the sake of कि एक sale तो हो जाए आज.
So for we were never groomed in an era of revenues. Okay, bhai, there were no top line business targets we ever took. We were very bottom line focused. I don't recommend that to happen today because we were very operating in a very different environment, call center. There were cost of servicing a ticket. In today, that might not be the best thing to do. In today, you could actually, but I never thought that we intentionally did business at negative margin even once. Intentionally. There were mistakes happening. That can happen. Somebody quoted a wrong price, something else went wrong and we had to absorb it. All that has happened. Intentionally, we never priced ourselves below the cost. I think that if it was a pure e-commerce model, maybe we could have, possibly get people incentivized to look online. And there were others doing it. I mean, we didn't. If Captain Gopinath was selling a ticket at 500,
the world was traveling. And the endeavor.
He was actually subventing the whole transition. Captain Air Deccan was doing a brilliant job at that point of time to make people move. So we didn't need to actually, and our margins are so slim in the travel business. So there's nothing. I mean, even today people ask me a lot of times that I'm doing this. I said, yeah, our margin is 1 or 2% on a ticket. Now hardly anything is left. So what can we give you? I mean, a 50,000 ticket if you want. If you're going to Europe, it's a 75,000 rupee ticket, and somebody says, okay, what can you offer me? I said, okay, if I offer you 300 rupees off, I mean, that'll look like a joke. So we didn't have that much. On hotels, maybe the margins are slightly higher, but the cost is reasonably high to even acquire the hotels. There's a big business. There's a big people intensive effort in contracting. So there's not much left in terms of discounting. So we never actually ended up deliberately selling it below cost to just acquire a customer. Even when we went public or even when we raised enough money, I think that ethos stuck with us. That let's do innovative deals. We worked with a lot of marketing partners. I think the word cashback, which is now very popular, was born between, I think it was MakeMyTrip and Kingfisher. And I think me, Manoj, and I don't know, we were sitting somewhere in Bombay and we kind of worked this out that, and there was a third partner called Visa, and the credit card guys wanting to promote. And between Kingfisher and Visa, and we worked out this deal, and we invented this word cashback. That became kind of a buzzword in e-commerce now. But that was the first time that you see you use a Visa fly Kingfisher and book on MakeMyTrip, you get 20% cash back. And I think then the second time we did it with ICICI Bank credit cards also. So then it became kind of an interesting things.
We've spoken about this work life balance. जब हम वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस की बात करते हैं जॉब में usually now we can say we have a predictability to a very to a good extent because of kind of data that we get and etc. But when we talk about startup, there is no such thing. How do you manage your mental health to deal with this every single day?
Uh, that's where the element of how, okay, let's use a word called happy or satisfied you are at work. Anytime you are in a space where you are positive in your thoughts, you are in a good place, whether it's at home, whether it's at work. And I think for anyone who's doing that, creating an environment of positivity rather is very important. And that's where I go back to a very important thing of setting targets. I think most people, I have made a business plan based on valuation. Okay, so now my valuation requires me to grow 10x next quarter. Most people in the team might not even buy it and say, "Yaar, ye to." And then I say, listen, so what it does, it creates stress in the environment. You say, listen, after we do this, we'll be valued at 100 million. You have stock options. Now you will be worth $250,000. Come on, let's do it. Oh, that's all lovely. It'll be nice if we get to 100 million. But if there's no belief in achieving that target, then there's no belief in what is my worth, because I also know it's not going to. I think I think that is a philosophy which is flawed. I think setting improbable targets, you rather say, listen, let's just get there a quarter later, but get the belief, conviction, because what is positivity? It's an emotion, it's a feeling that I set a target, I achieved it. That itself makes you feel good. I've set a target that I'll never achieve it. From the beginning, you are now working knowing fully well that you're not going to achieve. Now you're saying, how badly will I fail? That creates a very different environment. And I think people, if you want to keep, and everyone for some reason gets aligned to a number or to a target in the organization. Even a guy working in accounts or even a person serving tea sometimes will realize that यार माहौल कैसा है, लोग खुश है कि नहीं है, एक्साइटमेंट है, इज ओके, वो पता अगर लोग खुश है तो उसको भी लगता है कि मेरी नौकरी भी रहेगी, मैं भी खुश, और वो भी खुश रहेगा. और रोज लोग एक दूसरे को गालियां निकाल रहे हैं, स्ट्रेसफुल है, बिकरिंग चल रही है पीछे, देन द होल एनवायरनमेंट बिकम्स नेगेटिव. एंड द नेगेटिविटी डजंट स्टार्ट बिकॉज I want to bicker about someone. It becomes I am being pushed to do things which I know either we cannot do it, or it will take some kind of miracle to make it happen. And miracles can happen, and sometimes you can even achieve the unthinkable.